Welcome back, artists. Today we are going to be learning about Frida Kahlo. She is one of the most famous self-portraiture artists, and the artwork we're going to do today is based off of Self-Portrait with Thorn Necklace and Hummingbird, which was created in 1940. So to start out, we're just going to start out with a line drawing. So I'm going to be using a Sharpie. You can use a black Sharpie or a pen, whichever you have on hand. And we're going to start out with some simple shapes for the face. So I want you to go ahead and touch your paper. I want you to just decide where you're going to do the head. When I'm looking at the original, the head is in the top half of the paper, and then we're going to leave the bottom half for her neck and her shoulders, and we'll have a lot of space in the background for some foliage, some leaves and different animals. So I'm just going to put a little planning dot in the middle of the paper. Also, your paper should be portrait, so it should be tall instead of long. This is called landscape. So go ahead and make sure it's in portrait mode. And then I want you to go ahead and put another mark at the top of her head. So I'm going to leave some space at the very top. And then I'm going to do a curved line curving down from the top left, curving around and connecting to the planning dot at the bottom. And then the same thing on the right side. So you're just going to do a curved line curving around to connect here. Next, we're going to do the neck. So coming in on the left side, you can just start with a little planning line. And same thing on the right. And then she has made her neck very elongated. It creates this effect of, elegance. So you're going to do 2 straight lines on either side for the neck. And then we're going to do her shoulders. So her shoulders are a little bit sunken here. So you're going to do a curved line curving over towards the left. And then it's going to go down off the paper. Same thing on the right side, curving over towards the right and down. So this is a really simple way to start out with her portrait. The next thing I want to do is I'm going to create some guidelines for the face. So actually, I'm going to have you grab a pencil because we want to be able to erase these later on. So just make sure you have a pencil with an eraser. And I'm going to start out by doing a line going down the middle of the face. So this is something that artists have been doing for a long time. Anyone who's learning how to do portraiture is going to start out with these guidelines. So you're going to do a line, a vertical line going straight down the middle. And then I'm going to do a horizontal line, which is pretty much just above the middle. So if I were to imagine cutting this shape in half, I'm going to go up just a little bit, and then I'm going to do a horizontal straight line. So these guidelines help us to place the different parts of different facial features, elements of the face. Now, from this point where the vertical and the horizontal line meet, I want you to find a halfway mark. So between here and here, you're going to cut that in half, and you're going to put a short horizontal mark. That's going to be for the nose. And then you are going to go from the nose to the chin, and halfway you're going to place another line, which is going to be a little bit longer than the horizontal line for the nose, and that's going to be the lips. So this is where the lips part. Next, I want you to go to the left side here where this horizontal line touches the left side of the face. And this is going to be where the beginning of the ear starts. You can just place a little mark there. And a common mistake that a lot of young artists make is they make the ears too short, too little. But when you really look, everyone has different size ears, but generally speaking, from the nose, just lift your pencil, hop over to the left and put a little mark. That's going to be the bottom of the ear. So now we can connect these two dots that we've made. So you're going to do a curved line curving up on the left, curving in, and then connecting. So that's one ear. So now we can repeat this on the other side. On the right side of the face, you're going to just put a little short diagonal straight line pointing up towards the top right corner of the paper. Find the line of the nose. You're going to hop over towards the right, put a little mark. Now you can connect these two marks to create the ear. All right, so the next step we're going to do is place the eyes. So I'm doing all of this in pencil before I go back with my Sharpie. So the eyes, everyone has different sized eyes, right? And it really depends on your nationality, your heritage, where your parents and your grandparents are from. But generally speaking, we're going to place the eyes in the middle of the left half of the face and then the middle of the right half of the face. So if I were to cover this side up, the point where we have our guidelines, I want you to find right there in the middle. I want you to just put a little planting dot. Okay, and then I'm going to create a circle around that planting dot. So think of the planting dot as your pupil, which is the black part of your eye. Now you're going to do a sketch of a circle around that. Okay, that's the eyeball. And then just to the left, put a planting dot. And the right of your eyeball, you're going to make some marks. And now we can use those as the corners of the eye. So this is the inner corner of the eye. This is the outer corner of the eye. So you're going to connect those with a curved line. So curving up and over is the upper lid. And then from the inner corner of the eye, curving down and over is the lower lid. And you have your eyeball. Let me zoom in to show you guys. Okay. So we're going to repeat that on the other side. So again, you're going to, cover up this side. Don't worry about that. And from the guideline over to the ear, you're going to find the middle point. And that is going to become the pupil. So it becomes a dot. It's like a circle colored in. Around that, you're going to do a circle for the eyeball. To the left of your circle, you can put a mark for the inner corner of the eye. Also a planting dot on the right for the outer corner of the eye. Zoom in to show you again. Okay. And now you're going to connect the inner corner of the eye, curving up and over towards the right. That's for the upper eyelid. And then same thing for the lower lid, from the inner corner of the eye, curving down and over. So this is just a simple way. I'm basically building up the features with simple shapes. So starting out with dot, circle, and then curved lines. So there's a lot more detail that can come into this, but for now we can leave those eyes. Just above the eyes, we have a crease right above here, and this is for the eyelid. So you can do a curved line just above either eye. Okay. And now we are going to go to the brows. So everyone has different shaped brows. Some people actually control the shape of their brows, they'll manicure it, but Frida was really loved her natural look. So we're going to start out with just some curved lines. So I'm going to go to the outer corner of the left eye, and I want you to hop up, put a little mark, and then I want you to bring that mark just a little bit outside of the eye, so it's longer than the corner of the eye. And now I'm going to find the place where the eyebrow meets. So I want you to go to the mark here, this guideline, and I want you to hop up. And basically from here, you're going to do a curved line curving up and over to connect. So this is just the arch of her brow. And she had a unibrow, so she didn't really take away the little hairs that are in the middle here. So that's why we started right there in the guideline. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So since as humans, we have a lot of symmetry, it's almost the same on each side. There's subtle differences, but we're going to repeat all the steps we do on the left side, we're gonna repeat them on the right side as well. Okay, so I want you to go to the outer corner of the eye. I want you to lift your pencil, hop up, put a little mark, and then you're going to bring that mark a little bit outside of the eye. And then you're going to go to the middle here, you're going to curve up until it connects to your last line. And you're gonna find the arch of her brow. Okay, just like that. All right, so the next thing we're gonna hop down, we've covered the brows, we've covered the eyes, the ears. Now we're gonna go to the nose. So we just have a simple line for the nose, but it's great because we can start out with these simple forms and then we can build upon them. So from the line of the nose, we are going to find that mark where the vertical line going through the middle meets the horizontal line of the nose. And you are going to do a curved line curving up and over towards the left, and then up and over towards the right. It looks like, you know, when you doodle the little seagulls in the horizon of your sunset, that's kind of what that looks like. So let me zoom in to show you guys again. Like that. So that is the bottom of the nose, and then these are the nostrils on either side. Okay. And now we're going to curve up on the left and on the right to create the sides of the nose. So just a little curved line curving up on the left and the right. So there's a really simple nose right there. Okay, next we are going to create the lips. So we've made the mark right here in the middle for the lips. And you know, everyone has different size lips. Like Latino cultures tend to have more full, thick lips. So we're going to make hers a little bit bigger. So from the middle here, this is where, you know, you part your lips. So we actually have an upper lip and a lower lip. And the upper lip usually looks almost like a little mountain shape. The lower is just a curved line. Okay, so a lot of times when you're starting out drawing, you know, you'll draw a face. Let me do a little example here. Like this is your head. These are your eyes. Sometimes people forget the eyebrows, get a little nose, and then you put a smile on the face, right? But even though this is a really cute character, this isn't super realistic. When you start to look really closely at the shapes and the lines of people's features, you can get a lot more detail. So instead of doing this curved line here, you notice that there's actually, if that's your smile, you'll actually get a little bit more detail by adding a few more lines, right? And then also in the eyes, like we learned, adding a few more lines here creates so much more to it. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do for our Frida. Okay, so I want you to go to where these two lines meet. We're gonna start with the upper lip. So you're going to hop up, put a little planting dot, and then we are going to do a little bit of a curve curving up on the left. So this is pointing towards the top left corner of the paper. Let me try to zoom in again for you guys. Oh, it's a little farther away. Okay. And then from the end of here, you're going to start curving down and connecting to the left corner of the mouth. So always start out with a sketch, and then when you're happy with your line, you can press a little bit harder. We're gonna repeat the same thing on the other side. So we're just gonna flip it. You're gonna go from that point, you're gonna lift up towards the top right, and then it's going to start pointing down at a diagonal to the bottom right corner of the mouth. All right. So this is the upper lip. Next, we are going to go to the lower lip. So I want you to go to this mark right here where these two lines meet. I want you to hop down and just put a little planting dot so you know where your left and right side of the lip are going to meet. So from your planting dot, you can curve up towards the right till it meets on the corner of the mouth, and also up towards the left. And so now we have her upper lip and her lower lip. There's one little detail I want to put here, just because it's very distinct in all of her portraits, is she has, like right here in the middle, she has this little curved line here, which gives a little bit more of a unique definition to her particular lips. So it just kind of curves right down there. All right, so we have a pretty good portrait so far. Now, before we add any hair, I definitely want us to go in and just start to create some more definition in the face. So I'm gonna go back with my Sharpie, okay, or your pen, whatever you have handy. First, I want you to start out by outlining the ears. Okay. And now I want you to go ahead and we're going to do the dots of the pupil. So you can just make little marks here. Okay, fill those in. Those are those black parts of the eye. And we're also going to do the upper lid, the upper eyelids, so that we get a little bit of the lashes. So if you have a thick Sharpie like I do, you can use it in two ways. So if you use it flat, you get a really thick line. Let me show you here. If you use the flat side, you can get a really thick line. But if you just slightly turn it and point it, see how it's pointing towards the ceiling, you can get a thin line. So I want you to use the thin line. If you do have this thick Sharpie, if not, you can just use it how you've been using it before. So I'm going to use the thin point to create the lash line. So you're going to do a curved line on the top. Don't worry about the bottom. So that already creates a little bit more definition in her features. And then I also want you to start to do the brows. So in the very middle here, we're not going to put much. So I want you to leave a little bit of space. I want you to go to the corner of the eye, hop up. And then from here, this point, you're going to add a lot of thick black hair to her eyebrows. She had very thick, defined brows. So same thing on the other side. So you're gonna go to the inner corner of the eye, hop up, and then do your curved line curving over. So this is specifically Frida's portrait, but the things that we're learning today can be applied to any portrait that you'd like to do. You know, we can use these techniques and these little tools and guidelines, different ways of measuring the face, just slightly changing them for each person. So as we're working, I'm looking at the portrait on my computer so I can really pick it apart. Now in the middle here, we do want to create that unibrow, so you're just going to do a few little lines on either side, little short lines until they connect to the bigger area of the brow. Okay. And then that is it for our facial features. So if you haven't already, what I want you to do is press really hard. So we talked about pressure before. So if I'm pressing really lightly, it's like I can barely feel the marks. If I'm pressing down really hard with a lot of pressure, that's how you can get those darker lines, but also get some more definition. So anywhere that we've created the lines, except for the guidelines, we do not want to do those really hard. I want you to press harder with your pencil. So around the eyes, the eyeball, the inside around the black is going to be the colored part of the eye, that is called the iris. We're going to do the eyelids, so I'm just making it darker and more defined. Go around the nose, the nostrils, and the lips. So the reason why we're doing this is we want some dark lines because we're now going to go over with our eraser and we're going to get rid of these guidelines. We don't want them anymore. So just using your eraser, you can get rid of them, and you can also even go on top of, erase on top of the eyes, on top of the nose, and since we press down really hard, our lines will remain. We won't lose them. If we didn't define those facial features, then we might lose the actual outline of the facial features. Okay. So we're just cleaning up any extra lines and making it so that we have a nice clean palette to fill in her face. Okay, so another really huge characteristic of Frida was her hair, and she had so many different hairstyles. A lot of artists love to decorate themselves, and they have very unique style, really eclectic, kind of cool taste. So she was really known for her fashion sense, which is why French Vogue, which is this amazingly incredible magazine full of French fashion and very fashion forward people, even did a cover on her because they were really into her style. So for the hair, she does have very dark hair. So I'm gonna go back with my Sharpie. So she has a middle part. So I want you to go to the eyebrow and I want you to hop up. It's a little bit more than halfway between the top of the head and the brow. Let's put a little blending dot. And then we're going to frame her face. So we have our hairline. So that's the line distinguishing between our forehead and our hair. So from that mark, I want you to do a curved line curving over and around until it touches the top left corner of the ear. Same thing on the other side. And the hairline is very different depending on people. Some people don't even have a hairline if they're totally bald. You know, you might not even have a hairline. Some people have a part to the side. Okay, so that really changes with everyone. Next, I want you to go from the middle here and go up towards the top. On either side, you want to leave a little bit of just a little white of the paper showing because you want to show her hairline. And then in this image, she has this, it looks like she's braided her hair on either sides and then she put it up into a bun. So to make it look like the braids, we're going to hop over on the left ear, and I'm just gonna do a few curved lines. 1, 2, 3, until it touches the top of her left ear. Same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3 curved lines. And now we can use our Sharpie to fill this area in. So with my thick Sharpie, I can use the flat side so I can get some nice big areas filled in. If you have like a marker too, you could even use this technique. Or you're just going to, fill all of this in for her hair. And to add a little bit more of realism, you can even turn your Sharpie so I'm pointing it, and then I'm going to do little tiny lines coming out to show her hairline. When you look really closely at yourself in the mirror, you'll see these little tiny marks just for your hairline. So let me zoom in for you. Right there. All right. So our Frida is really coming together. Now at the top, she has this really interesting like ribbon that she's put inside her hair. So we'll just make some marks, and then we'll color them in later. So I want you to go to the top middle. I want you to hop up, put a little planting dot. And then from here, you're going to do a curved line curving around and over on the left. And then you're going to, do another curved line curving over and around. And then on this side, oops, I'm actually going to connect it here. So big curve curving up, and then a shorter one, and then right here in the middle, curving around, and then a shorter curve underneath. Well, that'll make more sense when we color it in. Now the last thing I want us to do for our line drawing, we are going to do her shirt. So you're just going to do a curved line curving here for the scoop neck of her t-shirt. And then we are going to start getting into some color.